Good to go. Man, one of these days we're going to hit it simultaneous.
Yeah. We have to do it without looking at each other.
Oh, man. Hey, King Pilled is live right now. The King Pilled show.
I love how you call it the King Pill show.
You like that?
Yeah, it's like a little Michael Malice thing. Yeah. Okay. So.
Oh.
All right. Looks like the stream is up.
All right. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a day. We've got mixed feelings about the day, but
yeah. You can say that again.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of levity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is like I look forward to this day every year. For a couple of obvious reasons. It's like I guess the most obvious is that it's Pete's birthday. And kind of just you can kind of remember because it's at Veterans Day, and then you just remember Pete just kind of being like, you mean Armistice Day? So,
yeah, the veteran of the meme wars.
Classic.
Yeah, he made a great impact in the meme wars.
That was yeah. I mean, well, we'll probably wait people to get in here before we argue about all the.
Wait, hold on.
Okay. Oh,
what's up, Buck? Thanks for dropping by, buddy.
Yeah, what a day, huh?
Yeah. Oh, another one.
Oh.
All right. People are flowing in now.
Ooh.
And you will cook that fucking food the way I told you to, bitch, or I swear to.
What's up, Bourdain?
Where'd you guys come from? I thought we were doing the pre-show for an hour. What happened?
This is the most on-time show that we've done, like, ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
We have got people just flowing in.
Whoa!
Howdy, y'all.
Whoa! Man, we have. How many people are in the audience? Do we have more people on the show than in the audience? That's hilarious.
Definitely, yeah. Amy says that you could say they're counter-flowing in.
well done.
That's my wife, folks. And Jared is here. Jared from End Democracy.
Hey,
he is here. He is a disembodied voice.
I am. That's the way I like to roll.
Transcended into the spiritual realm.
Yeah. I'm just above all you guys. Not literally. But
you're in the great beyond, just like Pete.
Yeah. So you guys are probably wondering why we invited all these people here. And it's because today is a special day. Today is the day that Pete Quinones was born, and we just wanted to celebrate his life.
I mean, in many ways we celebrate his life, sort of
his life and his legacy. All
every
the
day
things
that
he's left behind.
You know what I mean? But where this is his born day, it seems like we should just take it a little step further. So, and we're joined by, I mean, goodness, look at the cast of characters that we have right here.
It's all of the people who Pete has influenced the most throughout his life. They're his legacy. This panel right here is Pete's legacy.
That could be fair. That could be a fair statement.
Does anybody, Tommy, you seem like you have known Pete the best of everyone here. What do you have to say about him?
Just for somebody who shares a birthday with George S. Patton and Leonardo DiCaprio, it was really sad.
Oh, hi everybody.
Just the amount of hair he brought to the podcast world. It was really a disappointing display.
That sets it off.
Does anybody else have any memories you wanted to share?
It's like I got my political start, thanks to Pete having me on his show. And, for that, I'll always be eternally grateful that he helped, mainstream the concept of archotropism before he, was, killed in the meme war.
We have to,
It was the Pete Quinones show that really made my whole Twitter following blow up. I got absolutely inundated with Lolberts, and all I had to do was just go on Pete's show.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Pete had me on his show. Well, okay, never mind. But when I listened to Pete's show anyway, that was really fun for me. Was when all this COVID stuff was starting to happen. All the typical shows that I would listen to, and I would listen to Freeman, from time to time certainly, but none of the shows were getting after any of the stuff that I wanted to know about. And it seemed like Pete was just like on like a similar mission where, you were hearing from like epidemiologists and virologists and the people who had the answers to the questions to kind of just give you a barometer of like, all right, how far down the Alex Jones path are we exactly? Like how much apologizing do I need to do to this man? There's people I need to hear from. Pete had all of them on a show where, a lot of the other shows were just trying to,
and he did it in the first few weeks.
COVID, the fault of the state, and that just got old so fast. But yeah,
and the Pete Quinones tip jar really filled up really fast.
And he was there in the first few weeks, where all the other Lawberts still wanted to talk about, what was it, like drag queen story time and stuff that seems so very 2019 by today's standards. And he was right there. He was always ahead of his time.
He earned every last one of those grift dollars.
Oh yeah, that again.
Yeah.
I'm makes really me smile upset. Like that, given how horrible it is.
I know, but like this is the generation of people who smile about horrible things. Like, and I mean that's what Pete would want to be remembered as. He was the one who made people smile about horrible things.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys
think he might want to be remembered for his name pronounced correctly.
Well, I was just going to say, I didn't realize, I thought it was Quinones, and I don't listen to the Free Wall Man show, but I've been told that he says the name at the beginning of every episode.
I thought his last name was, I thought it was Quiznos.
Something.
I thought it was part of his family legacy of owning Quiznos.
Can you imagine? It's like it's still not his real name. Like that was the big move right there. It's just like, okay, here's my real name, and it's still not his real name, and it's all like a deep cover that he is the Quiznos. Like
his real name would still be unpronounceable though.
Mance Raymond, yes.
Mance Quiznos is his real name.
Dear leader. The voluntary king we all wanted to follow.
Well, I knew from the first time he told me he was a heavyweight and I could go fuck myself on Facebook 2 years ago that we were going to be lifelong friends. And it really, when it touched me deeply at that moment, and then I got blocked for 2 hours. Yeah, that was. But now, we just laugh about it and cuddle.
Every once in a while, it's inevitable in a war that there'll be a little bit of friendly fire, but it's a matter of who can kiss and make up after the friendly fire. That's what really defines a community.
But now he's gone to join Harambe and Reed Coverdale in the great beyond.
Man, I remember I was honored when he sort of stole a meme from me. I know intellectual property doesn't exist to at least 75% he is, but there was a picture of Tony Fauci like as a saint in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and I remember that Pete must have screenshot it and put it up on his account, and I felt honored, frankly, at the time. He didn't tell me to go fuck myself. Wait, no, he did.
No, you got a ways to go.
No, that was in a private DM. It's a different thing, but yeah, man, it was it's so cool, just to be able to I mean, I'm more of a fan than anything else. I just happen to somehow be on the internet sometimes, but gosh, to be able to interact with a I mean, he called himself a heavyweight. He's not lying. To interact with a heavyweight like that, it just makes me appreciate sort of the irony of the person who turned me on to Ted Kaczynski, allowing me to benefit from all this technology and being in touch with one of the greats.
Who would have thought that Pete would go before Ted? Man.
Yeah, there's not a week that goes by I don't think about writing that guy a letter, because I don't know how much longer I'll be able to. But that just kind of goes to show you don't know what you got till it's gone. You know, 'cause, I never wrote Pete a letter.
I wish I could thank him.
He got your videos though.
He gave me the first listener surge when I was on Free Man Beyond the Wall podcast, and I wish I was at some point. I never thanked him for that, and I wish I was able to. And he actually gave me some shit. I appeared on his show. And this is how long ago this was. The different incarnations. His name was Mance still. No, I don't know. Actually, I don't know about that. But I had said on a show that I'm not going to join the LP. I didn't have any time for it. I didn't want to do that. And I said, maybe down the line, if these guys ended up taking it over, it might be worth a shot. And he gave me some shit on Free Man Beyond the Wall saying, how dare you stay on the sidelines and not join the fight in the LP. So,
oh, that's amazing.
That's a beautiful memory. Yep.
You know, it might be a nice way to remember him if we play the takeover video, because he's prominently featured in that, and I think he makes some great points. It's on the
video.
It's on the LP Mises Caucus YouTube page if you can access it.
We might all be blocked from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing we know about Pete is he liked being on camera. He could never get enough of his own face on camera.
Yeah.
You know,
he inspired us all of us that way.
No, yeah.
Is that
Jared?
If he could get on camera
until Pete told me I was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if Pete can be on camera for as much as he was, then we can all schlup it quickly.
Is this the one you're talking about?
Oh,
yes.
It's time to be bold.
Yes, and if Pete was anything, he was bold. I think we should. This is the perfect way to honor.
Paul was in New Hampshire today to
He was also bald.
conservative support. In Massachusetts, he appealed to the liberal voter. As Marcus Jones found out, the libertarian agenda appeals to both attitudes.
When seeking office is done for personal aggrandizement, money, or power, it becomes useless if not harmful.
I happen to be a libertarian because of the compassionate nature of the result. If we continue in this line, we will have a successful libertarian revolution in this country.
When political action is taken for the right reasons, it's easy to understand why compromise should be avoided. It's also become clear why progress is best achieved by working with coalitions, which bring people together without anyone sacrificing his principles.
We are the inheritors of the most brilliant, beautiful political philosophy ever devised by man.
We are Ron Paul revolutionizing the Libertarian Party.
Your job is to take care of the remnant.
Why is the Libertarian Party not synonymous with the anti-war cause in America? That's a shame.
And the party's been widely irrelevant forever.
We love liberty, and we're here because we hate injustice.
I'm going to make powerful alliances with anybody who's willing to.
The message to them needs to be the system can't work.
The smartest thing your party can do is embrace the Mises type.
We're here to help.
Support the people that are doing the work.
We will ally with anyone who agrees what is going on needs to stop.
Who says we can't make coalitions on single issues?
End the lockdowns, end the wars, end the Fed, end the banker bailouts, end the corporate bailouts. If we can agree on all of those, that's important enough to put anything else aside.
We are here to save mankind.
My priority is advancing liberty because I live in a tyrannical lockdown state.
The Mises Caucus and the Libertarian Party has a job on their hands.
God bless the Mises Caucus.
The Mises Caucus is just crushing right now.
This is our year to do another Ron Paul revolution.
If the LP has a purpose, it's not to put people to sleep. It's to wake them up.
This country is in a revolution. They're sick and tired of what they're getting, and I happen to be lucky enough to be part of it.
Fight all of this government tyranny, compromise nothing, grow a fucking backbone, and fight for liberty. That's our message.
Glad to see the revolution is continuing.
That's how I'll always remember Pete, personally. His appearances in that video.
You know what's great about his appearance in that video?
I'm wondering, I thought the Libertarian Party would be for Mises. I didn't know they had to have another caucus.
Because he recorded that video 1 week before he was a post-libertarian.
He was always so malleable.
What's the
very, very, very open to new ideas and tolerant of everyone.
Yeah, I like that. What did Ron Paul say at the end of that video? Does anybody know?
He said Pete is the man.
I feel like he said something kind of important, but I missed it.
I mean, I think that at this point, the P and LP is synonymous with Pete.
I don't know why
I don't
you
know how
want
they
to
get there without
pivot
him.
this conversation from Pete. I don't know why you have to focus on Ron Paul today of all days.
I'm really sorry. I thought I heard him say something about like why do they need another caucus?
He said, "Why would you need a Mises caucus in the LP? Shouldn't the LP already be pro Mises?" Yeah, that's what Ron Paul said. But we're here to talk about Pete.
So you're forgetting his greatest legacy, which was inventing the NAP. And
I mean, I think
yes.
we should start a Libertarian Party Quinones caucus.
And celebrate the NA Pete.
Yeah.
Rest in power, Pete.
We can bring forth a helicopter as the logo.
Can we throw Archie Flowers out of it in effigy?
The LPQM.
Why in effigy?
I think LB made a great point where
Guys.
we don't need to pivot to this kind of discussion.
Also, most of you
We're
don't
here.
know that the Q in QAnon was for Quinones. Okay.
Really?
That explains so
I
much.
knew he was behind that whole thing all along.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense.
When
I
he
guess we
finally
have to trust
DM'd
the
me
man.
and told me, yeah, it was. I don't know if most people know exactly the background that Pete and I had, but we were. I don't know if you would necessarily call
Lovers.
us enemies, but for many years, Pete had me blocked on all social media, and I didn't even know that he existed anymore. And then one day I wasn't blocked, and the next day I was on his show, and
So Matt and Adam and me were all used to be enemies of Pete, and now we're friends. Who else? Who else was enemies of Pete? That's an interesting foray that he can elicit that kind of change.
I also guarantee you he has no memory of that instance with me at all, which is why it's even funnier.
Pete had a way with his frenemies.
Yeah.
I'm just struck by how quickly he re-entered my life just to leave it again so soon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I remember sending him that video.
Well, at least he had you on his show.
Yeah, no shit.
Couldn't have
Yeah,
done
is
that
there
for
anyone honestly other than
fellow
me and LB
countrymen.
who has not been on Pete's show? Jesus.
Yeah, Pete is also known for his old knowledge pump and dump. You know?
Oh.
Where he just drops a bunch of knowledge on you and then he's out.
Then he leaves.
Well,
And,
just
and
to be
then
clear, we
also-
don't kink shame here, so we're just describing. We're not
right. And
condemning.
then also with the it's also with the whole sexual orientation acronyms. It's actually LGBT Pete. A lot of people don't know that as well.
This guy just influenced everything in our culture.
I mean, not for nothing. It's the first time that I heard Jared's name. I would say that he's really responsible for a lot of important connections.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I think PQ or Pete Quinones was actually the first alternative gender that was announced.
Yeah. The PQ, that's where the JQ comes from, right?
Nobody could be
I
that
think
much of a
so.
cunt. Nobody could be that much of a cunt and be a man. That's true.
Now we're cooking with steam.
Yes, actually, Pete taught Michelle Obama how to fold and tuck. That's another part of important history.
Man, she's going for it, isn't she?
Damn.
You guys are trying to kill a guy who's already dead.
Hey man, he would want it this way, all right?
Dead.
He'd
We
want
lost
it this
Pete
way.
We lost Pete in a tragic boating accident when he was trying to sail to the core of the earth to prove that it was flat.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Christy Nome's husband finally got after him after he found out what Pete did.
And unfortunately, all my guns went down with him.
I know. It's like, and just before he passed on, he told me he had incriminating evidence on Hillary Clinton, just like Harambe did.
Right.
Oh, Andrew, playing the hits.
Do you think it's possible to live in Ancapistan in your head after you're dead?
All I know is that Pete's in Ancapistan in the sky.
I know we're all living in
Or the
Pete's
kingdom
head,
of God. I'm
that's
not,
for sure.
That 900-pound gazebo in the sky.
We're all figments of Pete's imagination.
I mean, does anyone have
Is
any?
that why we're trapped in this loop right now?
Yep.
Does anyone have thoughts on? Okay, well, this would be interesting. Either your own thoughts, or if you wanted to speculate as to what Pete's thoughts may be about, let's say, current events. Oh, and speaking of JQ, please announce that Charlemagne will be on the show.
Well, I do know that Pete told me before all this happened that he really regretted not getting the V. So. I mean, the number said it. The number said it was from him. They wouldn't video call to talk to me, and it was right after. A couple minutes later, I got the news. So.
Did you see any like SUVs across the street with like dark windows?
Well, I do have a live feed on his house, and there was a couple of vans speeding away. But I mean, Amazon delivers at all types of nights, all times of day.
I just remember hearing about him with these like kind of shady meetings in the park, where he was like sitting down on a park bench next to someone, and that person would get up and walk away. And I assume this is just related to his private sexual life, like Rachel was talking about. But you can never be too careful, I guess.
He sent me.
It's hard.
He sent me a video.
To be private,
He sent me a video and said, "Don't show anyone this," and it was him getting some kind of shot. He had a mask on, but I could see his glasses.
Hey, remember, no kink shaming.
And then he flexed his arms at me, and then said, like that, and that was yesterday.
So kind of vague and ambiguous, but Buck's
it's hard.
What we know.
It's hard for Pete to be private about it when he was all over town. So I'm not really sure what the goal was there. And then also,
is
Pete,
that why he moved to Ohio?
Well, it's a small town,
Well, because you need fresh blood. You gotta, restart. And I remember him talking about how if we only had a free market, then coronavirus wouldn't be a big deal because we'd have competing lab leaks and shit. So, I always admired him for his ingenuity in saying that.
He was willing to stick to his principles. Yeah, he was willing to stick to his principles even when in the end his principles were what undid him.
I thought we weren't kink shaming.
Yeah.
There's a difference between a circle jerk and a kink shame.
You guys know what a limp biscuit
Blindfolds?
is? Alrighty, well, thank you for dropping by, guys. It was really good to remember our friend in this way, and I feel his presence with us, even if we may have entered into a new age. I still feel his presence with us, and I think we always will.
It's like birthday presents.
Yeah, we've gone from BC to AD to AP.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I'm gonna have to change my name to Popular Quinones.
I think we should leave the Q in there somehow, if we're gonna go letters. I think that's very important.
I'm telling
we
you,
can go with after Quinones. How about after Mance Raider?
Man, if we ever have the purge, it's gonna be people saying fucking Pete's last name with like a gun to their head. They get two tries.
I just realized, guys.
Quinones.
I just realized that.
If you go ahead.
Yeah, that Pete just finally made it over that Great Wall, dude.
Man, I was only about 20 minutes too late, but yeah, good. That was good.
Augusto Pinochet.
Okay. All Matt had to do was threaten to kick you guys off before you start coming with this shit.
That's how we got over the wall. Used a helicopter.
We're now the post-Quinones libertarians.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Definitely post ad revenue libertarians. Post monetization libertarians.
Oh, is this live? Whoops.
Damn.
That's okay. Our last episode got copyright hit because
No,
when we
I
played
don't
that
think you
video.
understand. This is your last episode.
This is very true.
farewell
Our
episode.
penultimate episode, yeah.
Hey, Matt, in honor of, actually, this is legit true. I'm not BSing. In honor of the episode you had with, is it Josh that looks just like Steven?
Yeah, Josh Rayner.
I'm headed to a small store 20 minutes from here to buy raw milk. Right when we get to it.
Nice.
Excellent.
I'm going to drink it in honor of Pete.
You know, I want to just say I saw that there's a lot of good reviews about that episode. People seem to be a big fan. You know, not for nothing, I eat raw meat too. I don't make a whole thing of it, you know, but like, I guess, you know, maybe got other things going on or whatever, but like
putting it in your mouth and eating it are two different things.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. That might be sort of what sets him apart.
I just don't.
Okay.
You know what image
Now I
I
get
can't get out of my head is that raw milk just getting stuck in his beard, like in his chest. It just grosses me out.
That's the movie Steven's making that movie.
Right.
That's
I mean, Rachel, you think that the raw milk is bad? Wait, never mind. Forget it. It's fine.
Steven just took a break from filming to record this.
I just want you to know that
That's how much Pete meant to him.
the real transhumanism is when you have the enzyme to break down milk.
All right, guys, I
like
got
it
to
as
drop
a
out. I got to get back to work.
All right, thanks for dropping in, buddy.
What's
All
that?
right, see y'all later.
Stop being poor.
Yeah, he is gonna stop being poor. That's great.
But don't stop being Pete.
That's a
Never stop being
that's a
Pete.
guy who actually works. That's amazing.
Hey, I'm literally in an office, guys. Like,
So
Someone-
Right,
anyway,
you said work.
anybody
take
coming
the
is a
bus
guy who actually
home
works.
from
That's
work.
amazing.
Yeah.
that's true. I haven't done shit today. So.
Yeah. You know, I'm editing right now a video for Jason Stapleton that talks just about that, Adam, as a matter of fact. So I hope you keep your eyes out for it on Jason
It's going to be on the LPMC
YouTube
website.
channel.
I'll see it as soon as I log in the morning. Absolutely.
If you're doing videos for Jason, then why is the camera pointed toward your bed?
Oh, Matthew.
Secrets out.
You want to know what? You want to know? And it's, man, I had a casual interaction with Mr. Stapleton, and it's been carrying me through like the entire week. But he told me that he couldn't sort of answer, you know, whatever I was saying because he was hopping on a plane to go to Vegas. And I told him, I said, you know, not for nothing, that's about 40% of the time that's what I picture you doing anyway. And he hit me back with 2 like crying laughing emojis. And I closed my computer because I just didn't want to say anything to fuck it up because I could just die happy right there.
Steve misunderstood. It's not wealth, power, and OnlyFans. It's wealth, power, and influence.
There she is.
Our resident what is it? What resident one-liner machine?
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
between her
well-
and LB, geez.
It's that or being an accountant. So I made my choices.
Were you about to say something, LB?
No, because Rachel's just going to make it funnier.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
Well, you're either cranking out one-liners or babies, Rachel. So you got to make your choice one way or the other.
I feel
That's
exactly
true.
how. I feel
Although
exactly
the biggest
how.
joke would be a kid that would look like me. So you know.
I mean, she's got hot sauce and hot takes, so.
Speaking of cranking out babies, just as a random note, Amy spent several hours yesterday watching an Instagram live video of a woman giving birth at home. And that was just sitting there like for a while, like listening to a woman giving birth. There's something that's extremely
Yeah.
No. It's a genuinely spiritual experience. It was pretty interesting. And it's funny too, because she brought up that Jason Stapleton always points out how there's no such thing as a short attention span, that people are perfectly willing to listen or sit down and consume super long form content. She sat there for hours just watching this woman giving birth. And I mean, it was very, very PG. There was nothing super visual, but I just thought that was interesting. And I was trying to figure out how I would feel about being there while my child was being born and having it live streamed on the internet. But I guess there's pluses and minuses to everything.
Where she watched that, is it the same place that Steve's doing his filming right now?
I was just, is this some passive aggressive attempt to like hire me for the next one? Because I'll set up a live stream, buddy. I can do it.
We're gonna test Steve's acting chops.
Rachel, did you just get home?
Yeah, I did. I had to work. I fucked up. I didn't marry rich, so I had to work and bus home.
Yeah, okay. So we were enjoying your ride home. So that is crazy. It's dark there. That's so strange to me.
Yeah, it's dark and there's still assholes about wearing the mask on the bus and stuff. Like you can hear over the intercoms federal mandates and it's like, yeah, it is super dark here.
Can we see your view? Is that like a crazy view that you have right there?
I have this upright. Maybe it's supposed to be sideways. I don't know.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
what was behind you?
It's a cabinet.
When it was
tchotchke
small,
cabinet.
it looked like a gigantic like picture window in like Lower Manhattan or something like that. And I was like, what the fuck?
No.
I thought you said you didn't marry rich. Look at that. Oh, it's a china cabinet. All right.
No,
you have to
it's
turn the
for
phone back sideways. It looks like, and then like I think about you being in New York, it looks like you have the best view ever. But it's a china cabinet.
Yeah, I can see the buildings being burned down right from a window. It's you know.
God, I like that.
All right, y'all. I got to peace out. Take care.
All right, see you, buddy. Thanks for dropping in.
All right, thanks, Greg Proops.
Rest in peace.
I got to get up to you. I'm going to buy raw milk down the street.
Yeah, nice.
Get it, buddy.
All right, Pete, we love you. Thank you for the memories, and thank you for the initial bump in the audience and all the support and the fun chats. And it's been nice. And happy birthday, Pete. We love you.
Happy birthday, Pete, wherever you are.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful. Yeah, it makes me want to almost end the stream.
When Buck says he's going down the street to pick up milk, I imagine just like a shady dude in a jacket that opens it up in a dark alley and it's just like has tits and is like
I'm here for the milk.
I don't know, that's where my mind goes.
All right, yeah, guys, I gotta go. I have to go meet this guy, Buck.
I'm just imagining like these big, like giant fake boobs with like a camelback with like a nozzle that sticks down through it, and the guy's just like squeezing these camelbacks and pushing milk out of it.
He goes there twice a day. He's got to get it fresh from the tap. All right, I got to split two guys. Hey, Pete, happy birthday. I'm glad we reconciled our differences, and it was really good to get to know you. And, this is the eulogy for your life. So happy birthday, and we'll see you later. See you guys.
See you, Jared. Thanks for dropping in, man.
Jared had some bombs on Twitter yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, my goodness. Man,
All right,
if Pete were a 17-year-old Pete. Oh.
CNN Kappa Stampede.
Oh, man, I love it. Oh, gosh. I'm going to get too emotional. I don't know how I'll be able to continue for the show.
Is that the raw milk you're drinking right there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I started drinking it probably 5 days ago, and I've had maybe about a third of a gallon a day, something like that. And
it's good shit, right?
I'm definitely noticing a difference. I'm noticing just kind of a feeling like my body is purging itself a little bit, and it just feels like it's brought me down a peg.
Yeah, we've been drinking it for years. I can't drink like store milk, and it just tastes like weird water, like weird gloppy water. I don't know. It doesn't work for me.
Where do you get what's your supplier? Do you go to a farm or do you find some at a store? Yeah.
We're surrounded by farms here, like Upper Fairfield, Litchfield County, Connecticut. There's fucking little farms everywhere.
How much is it there?
I actually don't know. We pay a farm share. Like it comes out of my bank account. It's
Okay.
like $100 every 2 weeks.
Did you just
food and fruit and milk and whatever?
Bro,
that's awesome.
Honestly, half the shit fits in there and goes bad. I don't even do anything with half of it. I just wanted to support a farm. So
What are you laughing about, Steven?
No, just that it's like fucking Fairfield Adam just got so annoyed with Matt's poverty question to him. That was so fucking great. Oh, shit.
I just want to say, Adam. Adam, because you're in Connecticut, you can get a hold of Arby's new vodka that's like infused with fries. Do you know
I think
what
it's
I'm
a
talking
little
about?
presumptuous of you to think that I haven't already had that multiple times.
Oh, right. You mixed it yourself.
No, like, yeah, do you know where I live? I'm like 20 minutes from where you are.
Yeah, but I can't
get a good internet connection.
Can't get a good signal. Or...
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Man, that's not FiOS. I know that's not FiOS.
Did we lose her?
Verizon lost her.
I should
Truly
probably
working
come
class.
off anyway.
All right, thanks for dropping in, buddy. Oh, there she is.
And for Pete, man, all kidding aside, listen, I wouldn't be, a lot of us wouldn't be doing what we're doing or being able to have this conversation if you didn't. I can speak for myself, shake me out of my bullshit and my lazy malaise that I was in for the last however many years with you were talking about on your show and the guests that you had on. And I can only thank you for letting me ride your coattails as far as I have. So very much appreciate you and very much appreciate you guys for having us on and doing this. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. We should be appreciated. I couldn't agree more with Adam.
I'm going to go make more money now. Bye.
Sounds good. See you, buddy. Stop being poor.
I really just love. He was just disgusted. He was like, it's a farm share. It comes out of my bank account. Like, what the fuck did you just ask me? Did you ask me if I go hand money to a fucking farm? Like, what are you talking about? God, that was so good. I just said I was in Fairfield, Connecticut. Did you not hear that? That was so fucking funny to me.
I think you're muted, Rachel. We can't hear you.
It's the woman filter that Matt has on the blue screen.
Oh, I think she's saying goodbye.
I think she's saying goodbye also. Goodbye. I have to go cook now. Yes, we know.
Make sure you take your shoes off.
This is really fun. I mean, can we just have a woman talk on the show and I'll just make up what she's saying? That would be really good because we can't hear anything. I don't know if you put that together, Rachel.
You just have to change your voice. Fun. You have to start using a high falsetto.
Yeah, my boyfriend has commanded me to do anything, so I have to go do it now. Goodbye. And I need to cook for him. He has needs, and I am put on this earth to satisfy them. There's a big range of them, but this is very fun. Yeah. This is bizarre. For the future podcast listeners, she is continuing to talk as if she thinks that we can hear her for some reason. And it's very fun because I get to just say what I think. She's signing. Holy shit. And it's a good thing I do speak American Sign Language, and she is in fact saying, yes, Steven, you're correct. I do need to go cook for my boyfriend and his friends who are here. And they've each said that they want a cold beer. They've each said they want a cold beer, and I'm on my way to fetch them each a cold beer right now. She's got a pen and paper. Shut her goddamn video off right now, Matthew, if you're funny. Oh shit, she brought a pen back. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Oh, brava.
I think she's threatening you with a frying pan.
No, I think she needs that to go start sauteing onions. I'm pretty sure.
Oh man.
Oh wow. Holy shit. That was kind of exhausting.
That was fun.
Very funny. Very funny.
So I have to say now, I almost said this while everyone was here, but I decided to wait. But our goal with this, I think we can kind of let it out of the bag now. What our intentions actually had been, but they didn't quite work out because apparently Pete has actually died. We were going to have everyone show up here under the pretext of it being a surprise, that they were going to surprise Pete, and then we were going to get with Pete and have Pete show up partway through it and surprise everyone else
and show him what terrible friends he has.
Right, exactly.
Because Matthew
we were trying to prank the people who thought they were doing a prank.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But unfortunately, Pete has actually died, and we weren't able to get a hold of him. So you guys had to settle for that. Okay, Clockwork. He says, I actually just found a farm share, $250 a month, weekly pickup. Probably going to sign up for it. You get milk, cheese, and a bunch of other stuff. Interesting. I am definitely going to start looking into something like that because for us, our the raw milk that we have around here, we get from Sprouts, and it is $16 a gallon, I think.
Damn.
So right now I'm taking it as basically replacing my soda budget for the week or whatever. And I've been drinking a lot of soda, so I'm segueing that into raw milk and hoping that is an improvement. And I'm actually thinking about doing, because I'm going to start fasting based on the conversation that we had with Cyprian a few weeks or last week, and then the conversation that I had with all of the warlord level supporters in our supporting listeners group this week. It was, man, that was one of the most profound conversations I've ever had. We talked for like 3.5 hours, I think. We were talking psychedelics, we were talking quantum mechanics, we were talking symbology in the Bible, we were talking all kinds of stuff. And it was almost like a psychedelic experience itself, just having that conversation. We have several people in there who are either already Orthodox or are inquiring into Orthodoxy, and then multiple people who are very familiar with Buddhism. So we were really going into the Eastern worldview, just kind of in general, which is it's kind of bizarre for most Westerners. We have a distinctly limited conception of reality around us because we are Westerners and we're raised and conditioned to be overly reliant on rationalism and materialism. And there's an entire like significant population in the world that is that doesn't share most of our presuppositions. And because they don't, they're actually able to pretty interestingly answer questions that the Western world kind of has no answer for, or at least has really insufficient answers. Nick says, is Pete okay? This has me very concerned, or is this just about Twitter? This is just about Twitter. Pete's perfectly fine, as far as I know. I mean, it would be really awkward and uncomfortable to find out later on that that something had actually happened and we were just joking about it. But
no,
we're just joking around.
almost the best case scenario. I mean, except for Pete and everybody else, but like just for the sake of funny, that would be the best case.
Yeah. That's the sort of thing that I could see Pete looking down and getting an absolute gigantic kick out of. I would feel very much like we accidentally cursed someone.
Right. Have you ever combined Coke and milk together?
I have not.
I knew a family that like lived by that. I mean, every
That's
night
interesting.
Coke and milk. But
I mean, I guess you can do like I've heard of people doing floats, like Coke floats or Dr. Pepper floats.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a root beer float.
That's that's really out there. Root beer float.
Yeah.
I imagine that's what Coke and milk tastes like, though. I mean, it has to, right?
Yeah. Yeah. See, Clockwork agrees. He says a root beer float is similar. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Is this some kind of Midwest thing going on? This is like some Ohio shit.
Have you never heard of a root beer float?
No. I mean, the milk with Coke.
Oh.
But I just wonder what raw milk and Coke tastes like, and if our friend Joshua would approve or not with that. I'm guessing not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I'm guessing that the sugar and the caramel color and stuff and the Coke would probably be, or are you talking like Coke?
Ooh. Well,
like
I mean,
Coke. That's natural.
He spent some time in Miami, didn't he? So I think he would be on board with that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We should have him come back on again. It was funny seeing
talking about cocaine.
Yeah. It was funny watching the internet blow up the other day. Like when there was a lot of people who were genuinely weirded out by seeing three guys who look really similar. And in my opinion, it's two guys who look really similar and one guy who looks like those two guys.
Yeah,
but
it is kind of unnerving. Like it is kind of I don't know. It's kind of weird. But yeah, no. I don't even want to say it just because it's sort of like if if we ever sort of need like an ejection seat from like anything in life, it would make a lot of sense for just sort of me and you to just kind of get on board. Like, I don't know, we'll give you like a fucking spray tan or something. But if we just are like the three shirtless guys who drink raw milk and, you know, eat like weird shit or whatever.
I need to do a lot of fucking push-ups first.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the internet, so I don't, yeah. But yeah, like that, it seemed to get attention in a way that, like, I don't know, a lot of other things don't get attention.
Yeah.
You know? I wasn't really expecting, but you could tell there was something there that if there was any percentage of any of us that would entertain it, you know,
like if we started doing a show with the three of us and branded it and like really emphasized it and you leaned into it, yeah, it would get people's attention. It was weird how that, I totally didn't expect that. I'll tweet the show out and I'll get a couple interactions and it's just like, I'm focused on basically the audience. And all of a sudden there's all these, it was like alternative health Twitter found the video and like a bunch of the like influencers within alternative health Twitter were talking about us, which was weird.
And it's just like, wait, you just needed 3 long-haired guys with beards to talk about how libertarian dudes were like kind of soft. Okay. Like, I guess there is something to that number. Like, okay.
Yeah,
like,
3.
Cool.
Speaking of the
3's
conversation in the supporting listeners group the other day, the 3, we had an epiphany, or at least I had an epiphany about the nature of the Trinity in it too. So it was very interesting. If you'd be interested in joining in with conversations like that, then you can join our supporting listeners group, subscribestar.com/kingpilled. There's 3 different tiers there. And that conversation was a Zoom call with, I think it was 8 of us or something like that. And it's the people in the most, it was a decent number of the people who are in the top tier of the warlords tier on the Subscribe Star. We every other Tuesday we're getting together and just talking, and we've done it twice now, and it's been 2 of the most fascinating conversations that I've ever had. I am really, really proud of the people who support our little show here, because there are some really sharp motherfuckers. Oof. There are some smart people who are in that Discord channel. So if you guys want to join, like I said, subscribestar.com/kingpilled. And also, Steven's best friends, Paloma Verde. Speaking of, I actually am going to eat one right here, live.
That's right. I got to tell you.
See? Look.
Not for nothing. I think this is what I think our friend Carlos did when he sent me what he sent me. But you know, I think basically what Carlos did was, hey Stevie boy, I hear you talking a lot about the strawberry lemonade gummies, okay? And that's fine and good and they're delicious. But why don't you try these green apple? And let me tell just the way the green apple smells several times. This is not for the purpose of an ad read. I will walk by where they are, open it up, smell it, and think about having it later before bed, like just to get the smell. Have you had them? Oh, you're muted, I think maybe. But
I have. I haven't had them in a little while. I've been getting the strawberry lemonade ones, but I'm going to get them next time.
Yeah, that just the aroma alone would be worth the purchase, and just like letting it be a fragrant part of your domicile. But also delicious. And then at the end, they put a little stank on it. So it's just like, oh, you thought you were having candy? Mm-mm. No, sir, little boy. No, it's just like the flavor. It's just like, ooh, delicious, ooh, green apple. And then at the end, it's like, hey, don't forget what we're doing here. But yeah, they're delicious. I don't know. I think, I think maybe it's going to be some kind of rotation. A green apple, strawberry lemonade, gummy rotation. I mean, what's more 2021 than that, fans? But if you want to figure out your own rotation, why don't you head over to palomaverdecbd.com and use promo code KING at checkout for 25% off your order. That's palomaverdecbd.com and use promo code KING.
Are there any other organizations you would like to make an impassioned appeal for?
Well, okay, this is okay. Here's a little mix for you. I do have a general question for our audience. In that this is whether you're part of the Nomad Network or not. First of all, if you're part of our audience, I don't know why you wouldn't be part of the Nomad Network. I just today, for the sake of the people in the Nomad Network, made a quick little video about how to sort of set up cell phone footage so it doesn't look like you're filming underneath a fucking bridge, waiting for migrant children that you can take and try to sell, because that's a very important part of any digital business, is creating good video and not coming off like you're doing like recreational child trafficking, which is frankly what some of the footage can look like if you don't know what you're doing. But
don't look like child sex traffickers is very good marketing advice.
Yeah, that's step one. Step two is good audio. But I made a quick little video for that, and I think it just in like some like light. You don't need like a lot of lighting equipment. If you have a window and a piece of paper, like you're good. And so I made a little video for the Nomad Network, which you should join if you're not a member. How do you join, Matthew? My.nomad network.
You go to www.nomadnetwork.app/king.
Oh, www.nomadnetwork.app/king and join. And yeah, so I'm not the only one who does stuff like that in there. There's a lot of people in there that know what the fuck they're doing with like also video editors, audio editors, like accountants, like stuff that's like way be just people who understand marketing and business development. It's an important place if you're trying to figure shit out for 2021 in the future. But what I was curious about was if there's anyone out there who has like a unique business. Like my business is like not particularly unique. It's just like audio business, pretty like standard stuff. But I wasn't sure if there's anyone out there who does something that they would consider unique. And if you want to get with me somehow, like on the Twitters or whatever, I'd love to hear your story for a project. There's no membership to the Nomad Network required. I think it's a great place to be. But if you have some kind of unique business, I would really love to hear about it. Love to hear what you do. Because we're kind of we're in a place where people are looking for ideas, and I think a lot of times the ideas that they're cycling through is very like limited in scope. And if they heard from some people who are sort of more out of the box, it would be helpful. So wanted to put that out there to the listeners, and it seemed like an opportune time. But if you're not a member of the Nomad Network, head on over www.nomadnetwork.app/.
I was just looking at we did a survey on the network people of just to try to get an idea of demographics and what people are doing and that kind of thing. And so I've got the spreadsheet here in front of me, and just to give one of the questions was, what industry are you in? And just to give you an idea of some of the different things that are there, there's RV travel, recreational, cannabis production, natural gas technician, special needs mom, software as a service, transportation research, seasteading, pool construction, real estate investing, photographer, organic food and health and wellness coach, music and special effects makeup, IT, real estate. So yeah, there's wine. There's a big range of different industries and skill sets that are represented there. We've got now, I think we're just a little over 1,600 members now, just since we first launched it 4 months ago, something like that. So there's definitely been a big uptick in new members lately, and a lot of energy building on the platform, which is fun and cool to be a part of. And it's great seeing number one, how positive everything is, that it's a very
positive place.
Very uplifting. Yeah. You're not going to go there and feel like the world is burning down around you. You're going to go there and be surrounded by competence and like mature, stable people. So just like that alone.
Weird. Like if you're coming, like when you come from like another place, then you just kind of check in there. You're like, well, this is different.
Yeah.
It takes you back a little bit.
Yeah, it's very much like an internet forum was back in the day, like in the mid late 2000s, where internet forums were very siloed away from the rest of the internet, and it was just people who were passionate about a specific single thing, and they all sort of rallied around each other. And it wasn't until, I don't know, several years of that had gone by before it's kind of started to degrade, as many things are wont to do.
Mhm.
But this group here is definitely on the upswing, and it's very clear that the best days are ahead of us. So yeah, come join in www.nomadnetwork.app/king. And then last but not least, Pete replied to me. So Pete is not dead. He was out for a birthday dinner. Let me tell him this. Definitely don't watch first half of today's episode of King Pilled. All right.
You know, it's kind of funny. Is like my, my sort of, my this one might tie in. I won't say who, because I okay, that's what I'll do. I just won't say who. But my whole sort of idea, sort of just like, okay, we're just going to be kind of vague and sort of just, really not say anything too on the nose. We're just going to leave it sort of open to interpretation, but it's going to feel almost like a memorial, but we're not going to. And then one of our guests, just as he is wont to do, is just kind of jumps in with like, Pete died in a fiery bus accident. So anyway, you said you had an ad read, Matthew. You're muted, by the way.
God damn it! I did it again.
For the podcast listeners, Matthew was laughing, regaling in laughter.
Yes, I was. Stephen has to make sure that his story made at least someone laugh.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so he asked why. Pete asked why he shouldn't watch the first half of the episode of King Pilled, and I'm just gonna leave him on red.
I feel you know how the appearance on Pete, you're like, I was unblocked immediately, and I was on Pete's show the next day, and then all of a sudden we had an audience, and I feel like today's the day. It's the last day of you being unblocked.
He's gonna be like, these motherfuckers.
And the whole point was, man, if he was able to come on and just kind of see how terrible his friends were, that's what I was really waiting for. But, fuck us, I suppose.
I was just sitting here the whole time everyone was talking, just desperately hoping he was going to chime in and be like, "Hey, I'll hop in," because it would have been so funny to get their reaction to him jumping in all of a sudden on him. And then we went and pulled back the curtain and showed the tricks to the audience.
Well, revealing the fourth wall is very 2021.
Yeah, lots of irony. Okay, so speaking of our friend Andrew, he
not that anyone said anything about Andrew.
He has put out a notice.
Ooh.
He says, calling all Hoppians, Praxians, and fans of late Rothbard. Mises GOP is here, and we need recruits for Hoppa's What Must Be Done strategy to set out taking over local governments, nullifying the COVID regime, and starting us down the path to a private property society with the anti-tax. Mises GOP needs candidates with good moral character in red areas of red states to step forward and answer our call to run. If you're someone who's interested in supporting candidates with good moral character, in supporting the anti-tax paradigm, and interested in supporting the nullification of the COVID regime, then please become a monthly donor to Mises GOP today. No amount is too small. If you want to give a one-time donation, we ask that you break it into 12 equal parts, as this aids in our planning for the future. Thank you. So we're happy to support our good buddy Andrew and fireman Buck Johnson, and the good work that they're doing together, along with whomever else they recruit along the way, to actually start making a difference on the local level with local politics. I'm where I'm focused and wanting to set my sights. The stuff that's really most interesting to me is what I see as the stuff that kind of like supports or backstops the work that the people in local politics are doing. So you got to have some people who are on the ground doing the work, and then some people who are in the clouds, sort of trying to come up with the larger the larger vision that the local politics part fits into. So it's one tool on the ground that it's an important tool, and it's a tool that is kind of just been abandoned. Like, people aren't really focused that much on it, and it's really easy to win a local election. You saw this guy who spent $153 and won a fairly powerful government seat, and half of that $150 was spent on Dunkin' Donuts. So it's like, that's the sort of thing that's going on at the local level. And if you can get a hold of a local level election, and you can get a hold of a few of them in a region, it's pretty easy to completely transform a community really quickly. And that can prove to be it's not going to solve the problem of tyrannical overreach. It's not going to solve the problem of the demonic forces within the powers that be. It's not going to solve those problems, but it's just a tool for working against them. And so we're happy to support them in their efforts there. And the great thing about it is that how would you put this? It works. It's not a rhetorical strategy. It's an actual political strategy. It's actually been engineered and planned out by someone who engineers these sorts of things as a hobby. So so we're happy to support them. If you want to go donate to them, or you want to get in touch with them, you can. The link to donate is in the description. It's kind of a long link, so you can just go there and click on it, look for the one for the GOP Mises Caucus, and then you can also follow the GOP Mises Caucus on Twitter at GOP Mises.
And if you're one of these people that is just like, you want to know what? I think I can donate $12 to Andrew. First of all, you're a psychopath for donating $12. But we want to make sure that what you do is break up that donation. Let's say you're not a psychopath, and you say, I want to donate $10 to Andrew. Well, there's something called the time value of money. It's a very important concept. And so what Andrew would prefer that you do is take your $10 donation, all right, and just make it $1 a month for a year. If you could do that for Andrew, it's going to help Andrew plan. And you saw the glasses that Andrew was wearing. Andrew's a man that likes to plan. Those are the glasses that belongs to a planner. So please, break up your donation into small monthly donations and help our friend Andrew out, and our friend Fireman Buck Johnson.
Nicholas says,
by the way, informed us that YouTube is getting rid of displaying the dislike count. Listen, don't let that stop you. Okay. Eyes on the prize. Stay true to your principles.
Everyone else may not see it, but we'll still see it.
Daddy will see it. So
we'll know.
We'll know.
So get them dislikes up, folks. Nicholas says there's actually a bonus here that since local governance has languished, it's also extremely poor. So getting competent people involved will raise the level of governance overall. And that's a sentence that, like, raise the level of governance once upon a time probably would have triggered me. Mm-hmm. I would have been like, no, government is no, it's government bad. I once had that setting as my only setting as well. But once for me, really, what really kind of got the stuff going in my head was finding out that I was going to be a father, and realizing now that now I have this thing that I'm in charge of, that I have to provide for and care for and make the path straight before his feet. And that gave me, I guess, a lot greater of a focus on being very realistic with the stuff that I started focusing on. And I realized that you can have the theoretical question of, how would you do these things without government involvement? Or, how would the free market solve this problem? And you can even work toward trying to create those free market solutions. Trying to, like, if you think that there's a way that the market could privatize this particular service and that it would be better, and not just that it would be better to you, but that other people would actively choose it over and above, like, just naturally, voluntarily. Like, if you give them the government service and your service, they'll choose your service. If you can do that, if you can engineer something like that, then do that. Go create that thing. You don't need to go try to talk people into wanting that thing. Just go create it and show it to them. And if it's that good, then they'll naturally come get it. So I don't remember where I was going with that. What were we talking about?
I think CBD.
That was a while back.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I just completely lost my train of thought.
Local governance and how.
Oh yeah, local governance. Yeah,
and
right.
And maybe you and Pete at one point would have had some kind of internet conversation owning everybody about how they're too dumb to realize that governance in general is a terrible concept. But you've both moved on.
Right. We both grew up out of our Lolbertness.
You want to know who hasn't moved on from that? 1,000 people that I saw tweeting about fucking Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, was that.
Including some rather prominent.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to pick fights.
I think there's just something deep inside a lot of people that are drawn to that political philosophy that really just takes a particular joy in it's not even the intellectual like superiority. It's just something about just not even the pointing out of contradictions, and it's not even contrarian. It's some weird combination that even if you move beyond it, in some capacity, it just stays with you. It's like a poison that you can't resist. Making like a tweet or a post that is going to alienate or piss off people, or just get under their skin in some way. And
it seems like it's like the urge to identify yourself with the remnant, which is like by definition, then you're at odds with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more than just wanting to be contrarian. It's wanting to be contrarian with most people and to put yourself in a position of impotence, because then you can complain about the fact that you're impotent and nobody will listen to you. So you get to like be the victim, kind of. Is that the sort of thing that you're talking about?
Yeah, maybe that's what I mean. Very clearly, by bumbling through that non-statement, I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But I can recognize the impulse, and for some people, it's very easy to write it off as, oh, you just want to prove that you're intellectually superior. You just want to be a cunt. But yeah, maybe a more forgiving interpretation is what you said. And I think people do take different roads to sort of say the same thing. I think some of them are just enjoy being twatty, but it was really interesting to sort of see, just observe the tweets, and like that right now in the specific moment in history that we're at, that the big takeaway from all this was calling right wingers retarded or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
It's like, dude, the building's on fire. You know what I mean? Just like,
yeah. Hey, look, here's a thing where you could find common ground with some people. Oh, wait, you just insulted them all.
Yeah,
right.
It's not that I'll never get it. I kind of get it, but just at the same time, I'll also never get it. So yeah. But
it's an easy instinct. Like everyone has that instinct. Everyone wants to say "I told you so." Everyone wants to rub it in someone else's face. We all have that natural instinct. It's just that having that instinct and then giving into it are two different things. And giving in to that instinct cuts against like a strategy for trying to win people across to your ideas. You can't have both of those things at the same time. Mm-hmm. If you don't give a shit about persuading people or trying to attract people to your movement, then be as condescending and patronizing and dickheaded as you want to be. But don't say our goal is to grow this movement and reach out to people. Don't have that motivation, and also to jump at every possible opportunity to piss off every single group as much as possible, just to identify to distinguish yourself from them.
Yeah, that's it right there. I think. Yeah, I think you got it pretty good right there. Yeah, I'm just so glad. I'm so glad that I don't really look at Twitter all that much, other than to bother Charlemagne about being on the show is 90% of what I do on Twitter now. But yeah, the boy Chuck apparently was coming off of coming off of a Twitter suspension for some no posts. And
I can't imagine.
Well, this is the thing, and I don't know. Do we ignore this part of Charlemagne, and like everybody kind of knew the deal, and we just kind of put it in the corner, or is this is
I
he a little bit?
I think he's definitely becoming more vocal. I
A
don't
little
know
bit
if
more
that's
vocal these days.
reflecting. I don't know if that's reflecting a change in his own mind, or if it's reflecting just him becoming more open.
Right.
don't know.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I enjoy talking to people about their development. I mean, shit, we had the show today to honor Pete. So if anyone has been on a journey, it's been him. But yeah, I I knew Chuck as the guy who would read me Moldbug as I fell asleep. Some years ago or whenever, and with his dulcet tones. And then you hop on Twitter, and then there's a little bit of a making jokes about women, sharing the article of like men say that they prefer like sex with crazy women or something like that, and he says, "Oh, so you mean all women?" I'm like, "Oh, well, good morning, Charles." This doesn't match the voice, at least in my head, but okay, here, and then kind of proceed to some article about some havoc in the streets, and him kind of saying that he occasionally gets the desire to beat leftists to death with his bare hands and use their femurs to attack more leftists. And there's that catches you in a weird place. Again, because I've listened to his voice so much, I read his tweets in his voice, and it's pretty fucking psychotic. Like, I mean, he's it's like the exact opposite of, I think, guys think they have to make their voice deeper, or just like talk a little bit more street or something like that, if they want to be scary. But really, I think the most terrifying thing that you can do is just go the complete other direction and act as just completely calm and proper as possible.
Yes.
Like the real American Psycho shit. That's terrifying. So if you read some of the more violent tweets of Charlemagne in Charlemagne voice, oof. So anyway, can't wait to have him on the show. I'm just, of course, acting like it's a foregone conclusion that he will be on the show because I believe it in my heart. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. And Charles has said, just for the record, I put up a poll. Charles says that Monday is the day that is better for him. Okay, so for anyone who voted Thursday, our deepest condolences to you. You'll have to prepare yourself for Charlemagne on Monday. And I'll also say this: I keep track of his tweets, whether you believe that or not. And he's very spicy in the beginning of the week. He does not wait to midweek to get things. By the time midweek rolls around, he's probably banned, at least temporarily, from Twitter. So maybe a Monday episode will really get things going. And just for the fans, we do have another guest lined up. That's in sort of the final stage, and we think you'll really like it. We're not going to say who. But just know that your boys here at the King Pill Show are taking care in the way of guests.
Just know that it's definitely not a libertarian.
Right. That's
yes.
correct. That's correct.
Definitely not a libertarian.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I'll be interested to talk to old Chuck, and I want to ask him that. I want to ask, like, I want to be able to try to keep the channel from getting banned, but I'm I don't have any strong feelings about it, but I want to know like his rhetoric has changed. Is that because he has changed, or is that because he's is that because he's changed in that he now feels things that he didn't feel before, or is it because he now feels like he gives a shit less about just being public with it?
Right. Yeah. Because it's almost like it's like, hey, was you kind of doing narrations of these writings of this basically pacifist, like disengage guy? Was that like the Trojan horse to like bring all this shit into the discussion? Because that's fucking hilarious if that's what it was. Or what was your journey? I can't wait to ask Charlemagne what his journey was when he comes on the show to describe to me his journey. But
are you still planning to?
I think it would be really funny.
To do
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah,
I think it would be be hilarious.
Yeah,
I think you should join. I think you should join in.
You'll have to remind me. You'll have to remind me of the exact details,
okay,
so that I can plan appropriately.
Is this good content for the fans?
I'm sure they're very, very curious.
just inside vagary. If you ever wanted to know what being friends with old Stevie Boy is like, it's not that different.
Right. Half the time you'll send me a message. So just for people who don't know, Steven does voice messages. He very rarely actually types. When he does type, it's lots of abbreviations. 90% of the time it's just voice messages. So he'll send them to me, and so I listen to them. And then 90% of the time I stop and go back and listen to it again, make sure that I got all of it. And then I send him a message to clarify, to make sure that I understood.
Oh, shit. Man, if any ex-girlfriend ever stumbles upon this show, there's going to be some super chats. Oh, boy. Oh, shit. God, I got hot under the collar for that. Yeah, to be fair, I don't do it on purpose. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's maybe some sort of weird ethnic thing, but oh goodness.
That sounds
gracious.
racist.
Yeah, it probably is. I think Charlemagne and I may share an ethnicity. I can't wait to ask him about that also.
Apparently, yeah. You're just gonna spring that one on him?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And the thing is, that question might sort of lead down another path, which I've already sort of vowed not to go down, which was sort of the impetus for our most of our interactions. But yeah, God, I'd love to know. He's just a fascinating guy to me, as I've said multiple times. And I think when you put yourself in a position where it's just like, nobody, I don't know, does anybody know what the fucking guy looks like? Like, has he ever put his face out there ever?
He used to.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's before my time. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if those appearances are still like publicly available or not.
Oh, okay.
The guy's pretty good with OPSEC. So yeah,
I know him as an avatar. So like, hey,
yeah,
that just only makes me more curious. So
he was one of my first forays into like NRX Twitter, NRX ideas. That Moldbug series that he did was brilliantly timed, because at that time there was that's one of the reasons he did it. At that time there was basically no Moldbug content on YouTube anywhere, because I'd looked for it and it just couldn't really find anything. You get like really weird like foreign results and stuff that didn't help with anything. And then he and Anamnesis both did their separate series on Moldbug, and that's what really, I think actually. So the first Moldbug video I ever watched was the Distributists, like overview of Moldbug, and it's funny going back and watching it now and realizing just how completely, for lack of a better term, blue pilled I was when I first watched that. But so that's a really, really very good video. That's the first time where I was really struck with this idea that like if you go back 100 years, then like an ordinary right winger today is like an uber lefty. And if you go back 100 years before that, then an ordinary right winger of that time is an uber lefty. That was the first time that pattern was presented to me, and I was like, holy shit, that's right.
But now you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, we get it. but you
Yeah,
forget
right.
that you forget that was like mind blowing to you when you first encountered it. Yeah, no,
Yeah, you're like, come on, 4 years ago, Dave, get with the program.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
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 That's very funny.
So then that was what made me. So I was like, okay, I want more Moldbug content, and there basically was none. And then you got the was it Mulling Over Moldbug series, and then he had some. He didn't just like he and Anamnesis both. They like pull from Moldbug and they use quotes from him, but then they have a lot of their own thinking in there, and that was like it was I think encountering that is what made me start wanting to do something like to do like a podcast or a YouTube show or something like that. Seeing them do that and being like, oh yeah, I have thoughts. I want to put them out there too.
Do you remember? Do you remember
oh, no.
when like sort of the idea was just like you and I talking, be like, man, we could really connect a lot of these ideas with like all this other shit, So these two guys do a pretty good job with that one Yarvin guy, but man, we could pull it into this and that and give it some more historical context. And
we talked about how we were going to do like produced videos.
Yeah. Now it's a live only, unedited YouTube, not podcast at all, because you can't call it a podcast. Actually,
doing like spur of the moment, like ad-libbing.
that tries to get interviews with the guys that we were talking about by asking them if they were circumcised. So, yeah, the best laid plans of mice and men. You know what I mean? But anyway, Chuck, can't wait to have you on the show.
What's up, Mark? Man, Mark in the chat. Okay,
I know.
So we now that we've remembered our American hero. We've got and also talked about Pete. Now we can get into the Kyle Rittenhouse part of the show here. So, mostly the reason that I put Kyle Rittenhouse in the title was because that's like the trending issue right now, and that's I think probably the thing that is the most interesting to me is the fact that it's the trending issue right now. The way that it like I go through and I scroll through my timeline right now. And well, first of all, like 80% of my timeline is memes of that prosecutor who looks like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. Like almost my entire timeline is just meme after meme after meme of that guy. Yes. And then another, I don't know, 6% of my timeline is memes of Kyle crying. And there's very little else. The entire consciousness of Twitter is all focused in on this one subject right now, and everyone is waiting for the result. Everyone's waiting to see what's going to happen, and everyone kind of knows what's going to happen regardless of what happens. It's almost like these events have been preordained, and we're just sitting here just watching them like a movie.
There's not a good result, I don't think, right? Do we agree on that? Like,
no, I mean, well, like in a so putting on my libertarian hat, in an ideal world, like, yeah, there's a very like it's very clear that it's like it's an absolute legal atrocity that this case is even happening, and clearly the case is being prosecuted for explicitly political reasons. But like, it's kind of like it's going to be bad whether one or the other, and at the end of the day, both sides are going to take the verdict, no matter what it was, as reinforcement for their position. They're both gonna. There's this weird thing where everyone kind of knows. Like once the thing comes down, once the decision comes down, everyone's gonna be like, "Yeah, I freaking knew it. I knew this is what was gonna happen." Everyone on all sides of all positions, they're all gonna react that way. There's not gonna be anybody who's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I never saw that coming." It's going to be reinforced no matter what your position is. But the thing is, that doesn't mean that necessarily, I don't think it means that no position is correct, that like nobody is right. It's just like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which position is correct towards what the actual outcome is going to be. The outcome is going to happen. The way that people react to it is going to dictate what the next outcome will be. And once upon a time, it seemed like these sorts of events where the entire consciousness was all fixated on this specific thing. Once upon a time, that happened like once a generation. But now it happens multiple times a week. And I know there's going to be people who are like, "Oh, it's just Twitter. You got to get off. Twitter's not real life. Get off there." Having been on Twitter for a decade and a half, everything that happens on Twitter eventually happens in real life.
Yeah.
Twitter is the testing ground for what's going to happen.
Real life is about to not be real life.
Right.
That's where it's going.
Digital life and real life are being blended together. This is the whole metaverse thing. This is the same principle is true as what's true with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. The same principle is true with what's happening with digital life and real life. Like, the outcome is preordained. You know what's going to happen. It's one of certain outcomes, but those outcomes are the only outcomes there's going to be. And the question is really eventually just which order are those outcomes going to come into? Like, all of these things, you can start to see, I think, why people are inclined to believe that we live in a simulation. And so Nicholas is here in the chat. He's talking about feedism, and it's something that he'd introduced me to recently. And I think, Nicholas, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this a term that you've coined? Is this a subject that you're identifying, or is it something you've aggregated from people that you've been reading, or is it something you're relaying that somebody else has come up with? I think we'll have him come on the show and talk about it in more detail. He says the explanation arrives before the event. Yeah, there's I don't know if this is like the singularity, what people have talked about with the singularity, that like time is speeding up and we're reaching a point where it's what it seems like to me is like the human spirit collectively on a collective level is starting to become self-aware around the globe all at the same time. This is kind of the effect of the internet, putting everybody together and then connecting everyone to a 24-hour news cycle and then spinning it into crisis after crisis after crisis after crisis, and developing this entire culture that it's like the news cycle is the ship cutting through the water, and then there's this online influencer culture that is all the fish that are like swimming in the wake and like nipping up all the plankton and stuff that are kicked up. And then you've got these rows going out of the rest of the culture is all being fed by this one central hub. Everyone's following on the coattails of whatever influencer they're inclined toward. And you've got it's a like a fractal lattice work that goes down throughout the entire culture. This is just how our culture this is how it's driven. This is how it works. And when you understand how this system functions this way, I understand in talking about this. I was talking to Nicholas about this actually, that it seems like there's some people who just are not like capable of observing this phenomenon. I don't know if it's something about like spatial awareness or something, but there's just some people that don't. That if you talk to them about this, they'll just look at you kind of with a blank look, and but there's a very real phenomenon where there's these like almost like spiritual beings that govern groups of people, and those people are running programs. They're just being conditioned and then operating according to their conditioning. And I think that this is, technically speaking, this is what demon possession is. This is the term egregore. That's what it's describing. It's describing a phenomenon where an idea takes possession of people, and then those people begin acting according to that idea. And this is something that happens to every single person. Every single person is possessed by an idea. That idea governs them and directs them. We are like we're like artificial intelligences that are possessed by a spirit that directs us. And so then the question is, which spirit are you going to be possessed by? And the spirit that you're possessed by determines the direction that you will go and how you will live and how you will act. And so I'm sitting here watching this happen, just going through my Twitter timeline and seeing everybody has an opinion and everybody is super plugged into this. This is a big deal to everybody. A lot of people care very, very much about what the outcome of this trial is going to be. And I do too. Like I care. I can step back and look at myself and say I'm one of these people who's very invested in it, checks for updates on it, wants to know what's going to happen because I want to know what to plan for. I want to know what kind of riots we're going to have and how big they are and where to expect them to happen. Because there's going to be something happening either way. So
oh, boy.
I don't. I guess I'm watching all of this and I'm wondering, to what degree is it necessary to participate in this sort of thing? Because I feel like on one hand, if I just completely detach and disengage from it altogether, then then I don't have any influence over it or any control over it. Not that I have influence or control over it now, but at the same time, it's also an accumulation of its parts. It's each of the little subgroups that's latched onto this mother narrative is influencing what that narrative is going to be. So, is it possible to plant a Trojan horse idea that you could start? I mean, this is what 4chan has done. 4chan has been able to manipulate this mother narrative by, oh, there we go. We got spammers.
Nice.
Anyone want to join go away. Anyone want to enough watch stream girls here?
Well, fuck. Yeah, why are you watching us?
Yeah. Oh god. There's so many of them.
Nice.
Okay, I think maybe there was just one that commented a whole bunch of times. I'll make you a mod if I need to, Jim. What was I saying?
Oh, something about girls?
Before that. So to what degree is it necessary to participate in the movie that's being played out in front of us? Once you recognize that it's a movie that's being played out in front of you, then do you volunteer yourself for a role in that movie? Or do you withdraw altogether and let what's going to be what's going to come to pass? You just leave it be? Or do you get involved and try to influence the narrative in whatever way you can? That's and I'm not asking this rhetorically. I don't have an answer.
Isn't the idea that there's really nothing much you can do and you got to kick around till the meek inherit the earth? Something like that? Is that?
Yeah, that's I don't necessarily subscribe to that either.
I don't know if I do either, but I just I'm going by what I'm gathering from talking to a few people here. But yeah, I don't know either. I would that's been such a question, that I've wanted to ask a few people, one in particular. I'd love a good answer on that. I think the only thing that I know from Kyle Rittenhouse is that man, my 17-year-old kid ain't gonna be defending fucking tire shops. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes. I think that's you know how like when people discuss abortion, like they're always discussing it at the wrong level. I think that's like this is like another one. In like my honest take on anyone who's like sharing all this stuff about, well, I hope right wingers wake up to, wake up to the idea that prosecutors are dog shit, so that they can tweet about how prosecutors are dog shit too. I think it would be far more helpful if they realize that basically, you're looking at that at the wrong level too, where as long as the system is in place as such, like, of course you're going to get prosecutors that just want to convict people. Like, of course, that's how the system is set up. Those are the incentives that are going to be performed to. It's going to be people who are willing to perform to those incentives that are prosecutors. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think the more eyes are on the idea that, oh, this system is kind of fucked. I don't know. I think it probably seems like a trite to point out the difference, but I don't know. I think it's an important difference.
I don't think it's trite at all.
Yeah. So I guess basically if I can see all this like libertarian like gusto for just like pointing these things out. Just like, yeah, these dumb fucking right wingers, they don't know that prosecutors suck too. It's just like, you're dumb too. System sucks. You know what I mean? It's just like, tell them that the system sucks, and that, and I don't know. I think, to be honest with you, I think you just have to like wait out whatever happens, and it, you might die before anything happens. But yeah, it's not like, I don't know, what's the end result of, prosecutors are terrible? Like, are we going to abolish prosecutors? Like where do you go with that? Yeah, there's nothing to do with that other than like you can have more people who are tweeting that like that prosecutors are awful. But like then again, if libertarians had more, if every right winger started tweeting exactly like libertarians do, I don't think actual libertarians would be happy, because then they wouldn't be like outsiders. So
right. So that goes back to the other point.
I almost wonder if it's just like, man, it's like when that Ron Paul, said that thing. That's why I was really interested at the end of that video. It's like, shouldn't the Libertarian Party already kind of be a Mises party? Why do we need another caucus? I thought it was, man, listen to that once or twice and think about it. You know what I mean? I just wonder if that's why shit gets dumber and dumber, is because they need to sort of like make themselves distinctive somehow. When in like typically it's just like, oh man, I've got all these right wing people agreeing with me. It's like, what can I do to sort of carve out my space here? But yeah, it's just like again, like I think this is all a conversation at the wrong level. And I think that if you realize that, okay, burning down the tire shop is wrong, and defending yourself against violence is fine and like very justifiable, and anything else that you get from observing the situation. If you look at what this person is going through now, you wouldn't want someone that you care about to go through that, I don't think, unnecessarily, at the opposite expense of I don't know, a tire shop being burned down, where that maybe wasn't going to get burned down, or I don't know. No, I would say that would not be like a worthy trade-off. So it just kind of like should let people know this is the system that exists, and this is the end result of like all your whatever constitutional carry, whatever Second Amendment, whatever is right and would be just. This is when you put all these variables into the system, this is what it spits out. It's this trial, and it's this whole ordeal. And I just think it would be good to remember. It would be good for people to remember that. It would be good for like mothers of 17-year-old children, fathers of 17-year-old children, to observe that, because I don't think it is going to become like more favorable to people like Kyle Rittenhouse, who find themselves in that situation.
So this actually, I'm vibing with what you're saying, and this actually really kind of hits. It's a good way to illustrate the question that I'm trying to wrestle with in my head, which is like, if you're to the point where the fire shop or the tire shop is at risk of becoming a fire shop, if you're at that point,
yeah,
then the fight over the tire shop is already lost. Like now is not the time to get involved and fight the fight over the tire shop.
Yeah.
Now is the time to figure out where that fight was lost and find out where that current fight is right now and put yourself in that gap. Go fight the fight that's relevant right now.
Yeah.
And the fight of shaming right-wingers over being in love with prosecutors or something.
That ain't the fight.
Like, yeah, like since when are the right-wingers like, yes, the national security state is that's our bread and butter, like, okay, yeah, the actual literal members of the GOP might be doing, but you should recognize that the members of the GOP are stooges. Like that's the thing. The whole point here is that the rank and file hate the GOP, but they just hate the Democrats more. Like that's the whole thing. So if you're talking to them and like yelling at them for disliking prosecutors or for liking prosecutors or whatever, you're fighting a battle that isn't. It's like you're going for moral victories, and there's an actual fight to be had. But so where, at what point do you say that fight is already lost and we need to move on from it? Because I feel like you can get yourself into a point where you say every fight is already lost and fuck all of it, and is that where you become Uncle Ted?
Yeah. Let me answer for Pete on his birthday. God bless you, buddy. Yeah, no, I was I had a very similar conversation recently, and unironically threw out the Industrial Revolution as a possible starting point for whenever things were starting to go down. And I'm sure subconsciously, but like I wasn't really thinking of Ted at the time, but it's hard to point. And I guess that's sort of been my increasing feeling. The more I kind of look at everything, and I try to do it from just a more zoomed out perspective, is that it's like, oh man, this train has a lot of momentum, like way more than I thought. And so if I was like paranoid about it, you're right around 2020 and even a little bit before and even a little bit after, just like right now, I'm not moving in the direction of that there are more fights that you can win. You know what I mean? And we did have an idea, and I've got to hop off here and teach a private class, but we did have an idea of trying to get some people together who had a white pilled perspective and sort of have an ultimate white pilled episode, to present us with some positive takes and adjust up maybe our outlook a little bit. But man, I just ain't seeing it. I hate to leave on a downer, but I guess anything that moves you closer to the truth can't really be a downer.
Here, just to really reinforce that point in about as downer of a way as possible. Here's this tweet here. So,
yep.
I don't know if you guys saw this one. So these are people who obviously are, they did not acquire these groceries through the traditional means. They're just packing up. This is Oxford, Connecticut, apparently.
I mean, to be fair, they probably are the very traditional means of obtaining things.
True. Very traditional.
Not the means that we've moved past.
Right. And I just thought this is a good point here from Simiagog, who's a good guy to follow. Runs in the same circles as our friend Chuck. He said, by the way, you can't just turn shit like this off once it gets turned on, not just by talking or writing strongly worded letters. Again, no kink shaming. So, just because it turns someone on, that's everyone's got their own thing. But that point there, that you can't turn this shit off. This is something that hasn't been turned on in this country in who knows how long. We've been isolated away from this sort of behavior. But now this sort of behavior has been turned on, and it's been officially sanctioned as the van zooms off and bangs a cart out of the way, the door hanging open. This sort of thing has been building. And like you said, Industrial Revolution may have been the maybe you go back that far. You could go back even further. You could go back to the Great Schism. This sort of thing has been going for a long time. And it's not just going to get put back in the tube. This toothpaste is going to make a mess. So the game at this point, I think, is figuring out where it's going to be the least messy and getting yourself there. So if you're in an area where this is very clearly going, if you're in Oxford, Connecticut, figure out a way to get out of Oxford, Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in an area where this sort of thing is plausible, then get yourself out, because that's not a battle that's going to be won. There's a time when you have to retreat, and this is a time in these sorts of places for retreating. That should, and I think that should put you in the right frame of mind for figuring out the next steps forward as you transition into your path of creating your own wealth, power, and influence.
An amazing place to transition is by joining the Nomad Network at www.nomadnetwork.app/king, and join people who have some stuff figured out already.
Right. These are people. Sometimes when people transition, it's because they're trying to figure some things out and they're feeling very tormented. But sometimes when people transition, it's because they know exactly what they want. They know exactly who they are. And the Nomad Network is full of people who have very confidently made that transition. They have very confidently transitioned into their true selves.
Go put yourself around those people.
Yes. See you later, guys.